Crouse.
Well, John, congratulations on not only the success of Avatar in the theaters, but on its upcoming DVD release. You have to imagine that it's going to be absolutely enormous.
Well, look, I think what the DVD release does for us is it exposes the movie, number one, to people who might not have seen it in the theaters.
Right.
You know, and making movies is about communicating with people. And the DVD gives us another opportunity to do that. I think there's an urgency for fans who want to return to Pandora, but also there are families that didn't go to see this movie because the parents didn't want to take them into the theaters. There are adults who were too busy to see the movie, and this is the opportunity for them to go experience Pandora.
Now, do you think that there will be a difference between the Blu-ray sale and the DVD sales of this?
Well, look, I think that Avatar, is a movie that was made for the Blu-ray experience. I think that everything that we have done on the movie, we did for a quality of presentation. And that's now true with what we're doing with this initial Blu-ray release. This initial release will intentionally have no added content on the disc, including trailers, including commercials. Why? Because we wanted to take every bit of available disc space to make the presentation of the movie, both in DVD and Blu-ray, the highest quality possible. Jim Cameron went in with our color timer, the same person who color timed the movie, and spent a week with them color timing the movie for the home entertainment marketplace, because it's different than it is for a projected screen. And we then, when we encoded it to the disc, most people spend 2 weeks encoding. We spend 5 weeks. And our people from Lightstorm Entertainment were there every day reviewing and making sure that, again, this experience will redefine what is possible, on Blu-ray and even on the DVD.
Right, and for the home experience. Now,
exactly.
So then Avatar on Blu-ray is being set up to be kind of a game changer, I guess, in the same way that it was in the theaters. How do you think that Avatar has changed the film industry in terms not only of business but also of artistry?
Well, of artistry, I think what Avatar has done, it has really shown you that you can now tell any story with any characters. And I think the technological breakthrough of Avatar is not the 3D. The technological breakthrough of Avatar is being able to put up on the screen characters that are created with computer-generated imagery that are engaging and emotional. Because that's what movies are about, characters. So I think that was the game changer there. From the exhibition community, I think what it showed is that 3D does not need to be relegated to, children's movies, to sequels that need excuses to be made and are suddenly justified because they're in 3D, and that 3D does not have to be about gags coming off the screen, but can be about creating a window into a world.
How do you feel about some of the films that are coming out? One, Clash of the Titans, is already out, and I guess Alice in Wonderland as well, that have been retrofitted for DVD, even though they weren't shot in 3, or retrofitted for 3D, rather, even though they weren't shot in 3D. And the results have been less than impressive, I think, visually. But how do you feel about it? Because I think it's a direct response to the success of your film.
But, again, I won't talk about, what I thought of any of the movies, but I'll just tell you what I think of the process.
Sure.
I think that 3D, number one, is a creative process, not a technical process. You cannot do the creative process in a 7-week rush period at the end of a movie. That just has to be a technical process. And sometimes you don't even have enough time to do that. So I think that you can do conversions, but I think you need to take months and months and months to do them right. I say to any filmmaker that they're thinking that they can convert a movie from 2D to 3D in a short window of time and not make it a creative process would be like my saying to them, then shoot your movie in black and white and colorize it in the same 7 weeks.
Right, because
you never do that.
No, you would never do that. And I mean, as we learned many years ago when they tried to colorize movies, that the whole process of diddling around with the film once it's been shot isn't always successful.
Especially when the filmmaker is not involved.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which happened with so many of the black and white films because the filmmakers were no longer with us, unfortunately.
That's right.
So here, you take these releases and a director, per se, they are mixing the movie, they're finishing visual effects, and somebody else is going off technically trying to say, oh, well, this is what the 3D should be, and this is what it is, and, oh, yeah, that's a mistake, and we won't notice that, but it's like, no, don't do it that way. People did not go to Avatar because it was in 3D.
Right.
People went to Avatar because it was escapism. It was entertainment. It took them away from their world. It put them on a journey. They went to Pandora. And that's the same thing in 2D or 3D. That's why I'm so excited about the home entertainment release. Because, again, that is really, we edited the movie in 2D. That's how we made all of our decisions creatively, and that's now what we get to present.
Right, so the creative decisions were all made then as a function of the story, not of the...
Absolutely.
Right.
Not one thing changed in the script because of 3D.
Right.
Not one thing changed in the edit because of 3D. It's the same movie. Basically the 3D version is 2 eyes versus 1 eye of the 2D release.
Right.
James Horner scored and wrote his music to 2D. Mm-hmm. We mixed with our mixers in 2D. We did not see the movie in 3D as a whole movie until 2 weeks before it came out.
Is that right? Now, was there? That's got to be nerve-wracking.
No, it's not. Because we saw shots in 3D.
Right.
So when we filmed something, of course we saw it in 3D.
Right.
But we then put that away. We put 1 eye away and just continued to watch it. When we looked at work back from Red Digital, we got their work and we looked at it in 3D, but then we put it away. In terms of watching the whole movie so we can get a narrative story flow, it was December 5th.
Wow.
So we watched the movie for the first time in 3D.
Tell me what you thought when you see the whole movie in 3D for the first time, which is the way that most people are going to enjoy the film. What were your initial thoughts as you walked out of that screening room?
Well, it was interesting. I have to tell you who was there that day.
Okay.
We screened that day. We invited our cast. We invited Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we invited Steven Spielberg.
Wow.
Because Steven said, when you screen this, Jim, for the first time, I want to be there. So we told him when we were doing it. And, all the same, that's a nerve-wracking audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when it was over, people talked afterwards, and Steven, on the way out, I was by the front door of the screening room. He walked by me, and he said, I said, goodbye, thank you for coming. He said, wait a second. He said, let me give you a hug. He said, that was the best cinematic experience I've had since 1977.
Wow.
And you know what? At that moment, it's sort of like, it doesn't matter what happened.
Steven Spielberg loves the movie, and that's enough.
Look, this is like an icon to me,
Yeah.
Richard Crouse.